Marilyn Manson is back in the news. It says, Marilyn Manson accuser claims Evan Rachel Wood pressured her to make allegations. Does this shock anyone?
Honestly, it shocks me because if anyone would be, I mean, it doesn't shock me that people are evil. What shocks me is that if anyone is like, weird enough to be kind of a disturbing person, it would be him, you know?
I mean, I just see it as Hollywood packaging. It's
I mean,
just,
I wouldn't put it past someone to be like unstable or crazy or strange behind closed doors when they look like that. Like, I'm someone that often judges a book by its cover.
So it says Ashley Smithline now says that she was repeatedly gaslit by Evan Rachel Wood and others about her consensual relationship with Marilyn Manson. A rep for Wood denies the allegations, saying that she never pressured or manipulated Smithline. I don't buy it. I believe that she absolutely did this. Evan Rachel Wood. Look, they made a documentary about being a victim of Marilyn Manson. If you have financial stake in this,
did you ever watch?
I didn't watch it.
Rising?
No, I didn't watch it. But the point is, they sold a product on this. She testified before Congress on this. You're telling me that I don't believe that she might have fibbed a little bit in this because she needed more people on the docket?
Congress.
I don't know. No, I'm saying like I believe that she's lying about saying that she didn't gaslight Smithline. I believe she absolutely did.
Evan Rachel Wood is claiming that Ashley Smithline reached out to her first, saying that she wanted to speak out. And then Esme Bianco from Game of Thrones, her lawyer then reached out to Ashley Smithline saying that she would represent her. And this is interesting because they have a contingency agreement with this lawyer. So it's the type of thing where the lawyer will only get paid if they win. Yeah. And that seems like an inherent disadvantage for Marilyn Manson's side because he's the one spending all of the money trying to defend himself, while for them it's incredibly low stakes. Plus they get a lot of media out of this. Like she had a People cover and a photo shoot, and she was on The View for this to talk about her allegations. Let's contrast her original comments and then the Smithline. Let's contrast her original comments about the situation and what she said recently. Yeah. So in 2021, she says, "I survived a monster," she told the outlet in her first interview since she named her abuser 3 months ago. She provided the outlet with emails and messages saying that she came from Manson, showing that the two were together for more than 2 years. So she calls him a monster 2 years ago. It's funny, that was like right around the time we were like putting the concept of this show around, and this was in the news a lot. So she calls him a monster in 2021. She said that he R-worded her, cut her with a knife that had a swastika engraved on it, shoved his fist into her mouth during sex, that he beat her, that he assaulted her during her sleep, all of this other horrible stuff. And she said, now, recently, to Page 6, I succumbed to pressure from Evan Rachel Wood and her associates to make accusations of R-word and assault against Manson that were not true.
Yeah, she says, looking back, I feel I was manipulated to spread publicly false allegations of abuse against Mr. Warner.
Then why did she do it?
That's my question. It's like, now she's going to get off scot-free for having lied about this man simply because she reached out to Marilyn Manson's lawyer, and
is it possibly paid her off?
Well, she's publicly saying that she didn't get paid off. She said in her statement,
well, if she lied about one, why couldn't she lie about that?
People don't lie
under oath. She's claiming that
how do you define paid off, really?
That she didn't get paid anything, and that
listen, this is
even the money that has been paid out to other victims wouldn't have been paid out if she had come forward and said that she was lying sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels like she's still going to be able to avoid accountability.
Yeah.
and still be seen as a victim even though nothing happened to her. Like now she, instead of being the victim of Marilyn Manson, is the victim of Evan Rachel Wood, and then everybody is a bad guy except for her, even though she's still a horrible, corrupt person.
That's the issue with the era. The thing is, like, once an accusation is made, like, that's congrats.
Yeah.
This is you now.
So she says that Evan Rachel Wood tried to interrogate her and make her question her own memories, so that, you know, she would just assume that anything that happened to her was repressed.
Yeah.
She said, for a moment in time, having been questioned so many times by Evan Rachel Wood about this repressed memory and being told you're not remembering what happened.
That's insane.
She believed it for a minute.
Dude, that's
I don't believe this at all. You can't just be told that all of this stuff happened to you.
Police interrogations do this all the time.
Believe it.
Police interrogations do this all the time.
Not to this extent. That somebody cut you with a knife with a swastika.
Oh, no, I don't believe it.
I mean,
I'm saying that she's getting out of it, but I'm saying I believe that Evan Rachel would use these tactics, and I don't know if she believed it, but she just broke down because she just got sick of having to answer the questions constantly.
Yeah, I mean, to claim that she was genuinely convinced that any of this happened to her.
The swastika part is like, that's like, does anybody buy that?
Like,
does
at
anybody
least
buy
pretend
that?
to have some
No, it's like
agency.
either you were lying then or you're lying now.
Yep.
One
or the other.
which is it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's admitting, I guess, in part that she knew it didn't happen, but she's still like, I'm just a poor little baby who was manipulated, and I'm just such a.
I mean, that surprises no one.
She will face no consequences.
Yeah,
Like it's
Congrats.
literally, it's still like infantilizing women.
The worst part is that, and then a lot of times when this stuff happens, the man comes out and is like, I'm so grateful that they decided to tell the truth
recant.
finally.
Yeah,
like,
but it's like, why are you not gonna go after her for defamation, essentially? Like,
you should be.
and now he should be also looking into legal action against People and against ABC for The View. Any major media outlet that platformed this and affirmed it, because they amplified a message that, you know, then was followed by more and more and more accusers. I think he had like over a dozen eventually. Not all of them actually brought their cases to court, but there were like over a dozen women that brought forth allegations. There are still 2 who are anonymous, and their claims haven't been addressed legally yet. But like, one has been settled out of court, one has been dismissed based off of a statute of limitations.
Yep.
Now he's countersuing Evan Rachel Wood and
should.
her girl. If you look at Evan Rachel Wood's girlfriend, Ilma Gore, she's got a buzz cut that is bleached. She has SJW glasses and multiple face tattoos.
If you look
at this, just the sinister like look on Ilma Gore's face, I'm sorry. This woman loses all credibility.
But
she
in
looks
fairness, he's the
insane.
Lord of Darkness.
It's not just that. It's not just that.
But
It's
they're not
You know what
even.
I mean?
They're not even dark. They're
Like-
just presenting as like
But what I'm saying is
foot
like
soldiers of the establishment.
what I'm saying is like
basically.
no one has good optics coming into this.
Oh no,
You know
Evan
what I
Rachel
mean?
Wood did. Look, here's what's annoying to me. You watch the trailer for Phoenix Rising, and it's the soaring music. They're testifying. They're victims. They're standing true. They're standing up for their rights, and they're finally speaking their truth, Mary. And you see just how much emotional manipulation and money is dumped behind this
And you're
crap.
claiming Woods' girlfriend Ilma Gore produced this or funded this documentary.
They
or
worked on it
something?
together. They worked on it together. So the point is that the Hollywood machine's behind them. They don't care who's innocent or guilty, and they produce this type of stuff for people, for wine moms at home on Hulu watching this crap, and all this stuff falls apart. Will there be a soaring documentary about the vindication of all these claims for Marilyn Manson? No. That will never get made. In fact, 90% of the people, even the ones who don't watch the documentary, they'll just have seen the trailer, just saw the headlines, and they're going to think of all of these things as fact from now on.
Yeah.
Hollywood is the pinnacle of propaganda on every single level.
Another thing that she claimed before we move on is that Ilma Gore wrote her Instagram caption for her to come out with her initial statements. So that she actually had nothing to do with like writing down what happened to her. Ilma Gore just authored this entire story.
Evil, dude. Just freaking evil.
To even imagine things like this happening to someone shows a true like darkness and evil within yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like not like to just conceive of these things happening to someone, an innocent person, like that makes you just as bad as the person you're leveling accusations at, right?
Evil because they hide it behind a cloak of goodness.
And this
I
is
hate
like
that.
the way that people talk about the NSA. Like, if you have nothing to hide, then what are you so afraid
Exactly.
of?
Because they can take a fraction of the truth and modify it to sound like a lie.
It's entirely disingenuous when they say this, because whether Marilyn Manson was like guilty in one case or another, it's completely irrelevant, because if one person comes forward with a story, then dozens will follow, and if they're platformed, it just multiplies like a virus.
But then these are the same people who will then say like they don't care if he's innocent of 11 charges as long as he was guilty of one.
Right.
That's evil.
Well, did someone in this case say that?
I'm saying that's the logic behind this type of throw it all at the wall, hope it sticks. Oh, so like, and they'll also come up with this logic. They'll say like, oh, maybe that happened to me, maybe they didn't. And the human brain can justify just about anything when you're ideologically inclined, right? So, you know, she gets confirmation from someone else who says, yes, this happened to me. And who cares if they have to make something up to make it true? And this is actually something that Hollywood has pushed into people's heads for decades with their movies and television, is ends justify the means. They love the idea that you can, as long as you get the right guy in the end, it doesn't matter how many laws you break, how many oaths you break. It doesn't matter to them as long as what the outcome is the one that they want. They don't care about how they get there, just that they get there.
Yeah, I guess this doesn't confirm that any of the other counts, like any of the other women's allegations, are true or false. It doesn't confirm or deny them.
Yeah.
But it shows that some of these women are so desperate to see the downfall of this man that they're willing to use other women as pawns. It's sort of like Armie Hammer's ex-wife going to that girl Effie, who had been allegedly R-worded and abused by him severely, and using her story, doling it out to the press in order to strengthen her case for sole custody of their kids. It's like, it doesn't seem like solidarity of women to me.
No, it shows you the actually true evil power-grabbing nature of a certain type of woman in Hollywood. Not all women, but a certain type of personality that... there is a certain type of personality. To get ahead as a woman in Hollywood, you have to be ruthless.
It's the confirmation that a lot of people needed that Me Too was never a movement that had any compassion in it.
I don't think it's a woman in Hollywood thing.
It was always weaponized.
I think it's a woman thing, trying to, like, a ambitious woman who truly doesn't care.
Yeah, I'm just relating it to this particular situation because it's the ring we're discussing right now.
However, I will say this is like maybe a devil's advocate thing. I don't know if I've said this on the show before. I've definitely said it off the show. If you're engaging in high risk sexual activity with people you don't know that well, then they might accuse you of
you're
shit.
Courting danger.
Like, you're definitely in danger, and you should know that. And any man or woman, really, in Hollywood at this point should know that and be aware. But everyone thinks it won't happen to them. You need to take responsibility for yourself and yourself only.
The age of these claims were definitely at a time where it was just not considered a concern.
This is the logical conclusion of the sexual revolution.
We were at the height of like women
libertinism means either people get hurt or people lie about getting hurt, and
those people get hurt.
Yeah, then those people falsely accused get hurt. So just like behave responsibly and don't be a sexual deviant, because you're literally hopping in bed with complete strangers with nefarious intentions.
Also, that I think
I mean, but like for this one, it doesn't even seem like all of them had nefarious intentions. That one had nefarious intentions
That's all it takes.
that pulled them all in there. But I also believe that, like, look, you're right. Like, he made very dumb decisions by doing a lot of these things.
It's the rock star lifestyle.
But I don't know if that means that you say, oh well, then he deserves what's coming to him. I would say that, like, he should expect what's coming to him, but that doesn't mean that they deserve what's coming to him.
Well, it's the same thing. Like if you're promiscuous and then you end up having an unplanned pregnancy, it's like, oh, what did you think would happen? Like, there are risks to doing high risk activity with strangers.
I think
things happen.
The moral of the story is women don't have agency in this country.
Well, okay. Well, I think
It's a joke.
In this country.
a joke. I think it's that
Just this country?
I think the moral is that this culture in particular is so litigious that the way that I see this getting, and this is going to be late stage capitalism kind of thing, is that since everything can be defaked, AI'd, and whatever, people to hook up are going to have to go to a third party place, sign a document, and be like, hey, I think you're really handsome. Hey, I think you're really cute. You want to, yeah. And then they go and they sign the document where they have a third party be like, yes, I am witness that they're consenting adults and they want to go through this. And
there's already apps that do that.
Yeah, but like I think it's gonna be taken to the next level.
And say that they were coerced into signing it,
and that's gonna be the next meta of how to do that. Yeah. But in the immediate point, it'll be a thing where only rich people can hook up. Mm-hmm. Because you have to have the funds to.
So this is really like a eugenicist thing being pushed by Bill Gates.
In a way, because look, like the poor accuser can get a law firm that will take on the case that will
on the contingency
that
plan.
They win. But the poor defendant doesn't have that same logic. Like, nobody's going to take the case.
Well, thankfully, Marilyn Manson is not.
And they're gonna have like
in that position.
And you know how they could also twist it. They're gonna have a checklist of things like, yeah, I'm down to do this, I'm down to do that. And then they're gonna see like, yeah, well, I didn't check this box, but that didn't happen. Oh, well, I think it's gonna always just gonna be he said, she said.
Basically,
like, there is no.
This is because nobody in this culture, whether the man Marilyn Manson doing the sexual acts. Or the woman who got into bed with him and then decides years later she regrets it. Nobody's willing to take responsibility for their own actions. Victimhood is the highest currency available in this country right now, especially if you're already a star with a limited level of visibility. You can elevate that profile heavily by doing so.
I think another lesson from this is that you should judge books by their cover. Evan Rachel Wood, even if you look at her like just on the basis of physiognomy, she has like kind of that Amber Heard phenotype. Yeah. You can't deny that they look alike.
A little bit.
You know, she's just kind of a suspicious look in her eye, you know? And then
I don't know what she looked like back then. She might have looked different back then.
If any of these women who have allegations and they happen to be true, maybe you should have judged a book by its cover. I mean, he doesn't look like
the fame was the cover that they judged. The fame and the money.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like someone who's actually, you know, trustworthy, like or stable and like sane.
It sounds cliche.
Mind.
It sounds cliche, but at that time, it really was a culture that was so much less scared of this type of behavior. And you could make the argument, and before that, like, we were just in a time where you didn't pay much attention to this type of behavior because it was rampant. And you could make the argument that at the time, women had more agency. They were acting in the way they wanted to act, and you weren't getting. We're going to talk about it more, even with how Paris Hilton talks about her persona. Her persona that she's putting on, which is actually almost more abhorrent, like this persona that she put on to deal with her trauma response to everything that happened to her, was the actual method that was actually something that women looked up to at that time. So her fake response was how actual women were behaving.
She's the alpha, but by alpha I mean like the first rendition of Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.